All right, folks. Hello, supporters. Welcome. I'm putting my earphones on because I'm late. I'm late getting here. Guys, anything going on that we need to know about wrestling wise? Like
Tessa Blanchard.
WWE Network, how's that doing? How's the Peacock?
Huge. They gained 9 million new subscribers.
Wow.
Since WWE flipped over. So basically, almost everybody that was getting the WWE Network, got or over half anyway. I think they were at 1.2 million.
I think they were.
Yeah. So, 900,000 or 9 million, I should say.
Whoa.
It's a huge increase. So they got all that and more.
That's great. Maybe that's what they needed. So I guess that's what they needed. They needed another.
Now, the only thing is Peacock, they don't release their ratings. They don't have to because they're, NBC owns them, and I guess however they're set up, they're not required to release ratings. The only thing they have said is they are extremely pleased with the performance of WWE on Peacock.
Well, I see we have somebody joined us. A couple of people have joined us. Let us know who you are, who's coming in with us, and welcome to the first supporter live video. Hey, while we're waiting for people to come on, I thought this would be very interesting. Rodney remembers these days very well. Young Jim Cornette. Can y'all see that?
Yes, with King Carl Fergie. Yes, King Carl Fergie.
When you go back and think about it, this Georgia Championship Wrestling Superstars, that's just the ragtag of people that they put together for the. Think about this. Think about it. King Carl Fergie. That was the poor man's Jerry the King Lawler.
Carl, you are the poor man's Jerry Lawler. Okay.
Now you got the fantastic ones. Bobby Fulton, Terry Taylor. Well, that was the fabulous ones. Just think about this. So, and then you had the Stray Cat. Well, that was Tiger Mask, basically. What was it just trying to do? That was completely just because there's running Chattanooga didn't mean they had to be Nick Goulas. Goodness gracious! I'm trying to think of anybody else they had on this card that on this show.
Hey,
there's a baby.
Yes.
This is the good one.
So there's another one that's really bad, huh?
Oh, she's awful. I still love her too.
Hey, Terrence, how you doing, Terrence? Good to have you on here. Rick, how you doing? And by the way, yes, I do get up very early. I usually get up around 5 a.m. in the morning. And hopefully I can get something done in between that time. And Dan, how you doing, Dan? Well, if you guys got anything you want to talk about, just let us know because we're just showing some pictures. If for those of you who didn't come in here, the original Fantastics. That was before Tommy Rogers got put in there. I think they were a great tag team. What do you think, Rod? You not like Terry Taylor? I understand you like Terry Taylor, but what about Bobby Fulton? What do you think about Bobby Fulton?
If they would have given that a chance, that would have worked. Because Georgia was needing its own attention, and that's exactly what it needed. I believe mostly it got the plug pulled on it because they were getting jealous. They expected it to fail, and then things start to percolate. Marietta starts to coming up, Chattanooga starts to get a little bit more attention as the weeks and months go by. And then right as they get ready, 6 weeks into it, they were ready to change the talent over. And like I said, all of a sudden pulls the plug, That was it. And I think it had less to do with Fifi Cornette birthday party and more about jealousy.
I think
my
so.
opinion.
I think Ole got a little jealous. Richard wanted to know, did I get in touch with Gerald Finley? No, I have not had time to get in touch with him yet, but we will get in touch with him. And by the way, Rodney, I think Jack already knows this. Gerald Finley wants to come on the show, so we got to give him a call and set up. I just didn't have time. I've been away from work for 3 days, so I couldn't step away and give him a call today, but I will by the end of the week. Terrence said he read Bob Backlund's book over the weekend, and it's great. Is it new? Is it a new book, or is it just is it an older book?
No, I'm not sure. I hadn't. If I knew about that one, I'd forgot about it. I'd like to read his book though. I
bet it's a great book. I bet it is great. There's some guys wanting to do an interview with us, and I don't know. Have you seen these guys? They're called it's called the Rustlers. What does it say, Rodney? What did they say?
I thought it was called the Rustlers Wrestler.
Yeah. Do you know anything about this book wrote by? I can't remember the guys, but they want to come on to do an interview. But I think we first need to read some part of the book so we know what it's about. Because I don't know, I've never heard of it. So
I think I did. Maybe I think I've got that guy on my friends list, and he had commented about needing to we need to review his book.
And I don't. He did email us, and I just hadn't had time to read the email that he sent. But we'll get to him, and but we need to know what it's about. I mean, I don't even know what it's about. Terrence Hardy said no, it's not a new book, so it's an older book. Okay. Richard Hood said, Jack, are you coming to the All Pro Championship?
Dadgummit, Richard, have you not been paying attention? Russell South, Saturday night, 7:00 p.m. at the Arab Recreation Center. Be there or be square.
Now, let's go back over this again, because obviously people did not get this memo here. Now, you're saying that it's this Saturday night.
This Saturday night.
Not next one.
No, not the next.
This one coming up.
Not even the one after. It's this one.
This week, Arab, Alabama Recreation Center with a match time of...
Yep, and it's not Arab. It's Arab.
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 Close to Huntsville, right?
Close to Huntsville.
That's right. So that's this Saturday
in Marshall County, not far from Guntersville. And if you've ever been through Guntersville, you've seen that beautiful lake there, and you've probably seen Pat Rose out there casting a line.
Well, Pat Rose. You know, that's one guy we never can get on this show.
We got to try it again. I talked to him for an hour yesterday.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Said 2015 was the one that book was, Bob Backlund. What we need to do is do a whole show on that Sputnik Monroe book over there.
Yeah, this one here. Yeah, there's some great pictures in there. Great stuff in there.
Dan said, I read the Memphis Wrestling War of 1977 and couldn't believe Nick Gulas ended up a guard for a drunk take after that. Well, there's a major story about that whole situation that happened with George Gulas, and maybe one day we can share that. We can share that story, but I don't know. I hate to speak bad about George, but he's still with us, and I hate to.
Yeah, we're still trying to get him on here for an interview, aren't we?
Yeah. So we won't not forget what that
we can ask him. Well, no, we won't ask him that question.
I'm just joking. We can ask him that question because it could not be true.
Now, let's be honest. I want to be very clear about something. The war between Jarrett and Nick Gulas did not end with the situation here that they're talking about. No, because Nick Gulas didn't close up until 1980, and it was divided up. I think Jarrett took over Nashville. Georgia Championship Wrestling took over in Chattanooga. And then it was Ron Fuller took over Birmingham. So So it wasn't. It had nothing to do with the supposed war. It was something totally different.
I was in the front row the night the Sawyers beat the Road Warriors in Cincinnati. Man, we was talking about that on that part.
Yes,
Through the three that just got put on YouTube. Yeah, I would have. Road Warriors was an attraction, and and Buzz was crazy. I don't know if Brett was. I don't really remember him ever doing any crazy stuff. He might have.
I think he wanted to be crazy. Some of those interviews lead me to believe that.
They told him his bullet points. He got the bullet points over, didn't he?
That's it. That's all he talked about. That's it.
He might have been crazy, but he was not in his brother's league.
No, he didn't have that level of craziness that Buzz had. I was thinking, I'll never forget in Atlanta, they did Atlanta TV, and I can't remember why he does this, but Brett Wayne says these words to Gordon. It's just not right, Gordon. It's just not right. And that's all he says over and over again. It's just not right. So they told him that now Ole said, now you get out there, kid. You just go up there, and after this thing, you just say it just ain't right. And then the fans got with it, and they started chanting, it's just not right.
Yeah, just ain't right. That's right.
Have you seen this?
No.
Rodney, you remember that?
I remember that because we kept saying the same thing. That was one of our new things to say. It just ain't right, Gordon. It just ain't right.
I don't remember what it was about. Does anybody on there remember what that was about? I can't remember why he did that. I just remember him saying that. I can remember him saying it over and over and over again, just like he did that one interview when he said he almost put his eyes. He put his eyes out. If you're blind, you can't see. I don't know what it was. I'm crazy.
He kept trying. It never did work out for him. He kept going. He just wouldn't cut out.
Going to be there. Are you going to be there? Or are you going to be all pro wrestling? We're not for sure which one you're talking about there, Richard.
He's making the trip over.
So you are coming to and then he knew that then. And why did he say if he asked?
He's he turned heel.
Terrence asked, was Backlund in Georgia? Well, I don't remember Bob Backlund.
Yes, he was there. He was there in 1976. He and Wrestling 2 had won the Georgia Heavyweight Championship, and they went to, I think, a 15-minute time limit draw on television. And at one point, looked like Backlund was going to beat 2.
I don't remember him being there.
Yeah, he was there. Sure was.
And I was only 5 years old. So, yeah.
That's when wrestling.
Whole lot older. By the way,
that was a route about the time Georgia Championship Wrestling started coming on in Chattanooga.
Hey, I was going to ask you: is this picture took in Marietta, Georgia?
Well, it's so far away we can't tell.
Are you want me to go?
You need to zoom me in there, cameraman.
Zoom me in, cameraman. Zoom me in.
Yes, it is Marietta.
Cobb County Civic Center. Man.
Yes.
Off of that bad, don't I? You see my cameras up there. I was just wondering if that was Marietta, Cobb County Civic Center, because that was that's been a minute the first of that, because I don't see no fans sitting up there and I'm saying
there wasn't any. There wasn't any. That was another thing. If you were going to do this transition and you provided not one wrestler off the TBS that people have seen, to me, that is sabotage right off the bat. You're not even sending not one match that's been seen previously.
I was noticing. I picked this up. But I don't know why I tore this thing out. Maybe I was going to order this. I doubt it, but you remember the old, this was in their magazine, WWF magazine. But I don't think I would have ordered this. Can you see that? But here's, I don't know that I was going to order. Maybe I was going to order Andre the Giant t-shirt or something.
I think it.
I was pretty young then. Maybe I just took it because that little girl was on there.
What year was it? What year was that? Because we did receive those.
Did we have it?
Because they did not go to WWF. When we were promoting WWF in Chattanooga. Didn't they send a whole bunch of those?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
That's where it came from.
Well, you know, they got T-shirts for $14.95 back then. So, how much is our shirts?
$21.99, I believe.
Not too bad when you think about how much the shirts were then. You know, we should have always got us a cross pin. I know why we didn't, though. It's $29.95.
You know, while we're talking about the T-shirts, that's the reason I like ProWrestlingTees.com, because the prices are pretty reasonable, even for the big extended sizes that I get. Still not $30 for a T-shirt, and I see people all the time advertising shirts for $35-$40 a piece. I'm not paying
that. Dan, it will be a while before Mitch. We had to put a postpone to that for a while. We will get back to it though, but we had to postpone that for probably for the summertime anyway. And we'll probably do, since we got to postpone that, we'll probably do the 100 Top Wrestlers on Tuesday's live show. And so we can make a lot of people mad on Tuesday nights.
We're either going to grow or fold.
One or the other. We're either going to make it or break it, whichever one we decide. You could get a Hulk-sized T-shirt free. What's that mean? What was Hulk-sized?
I guess
that was
oversized.
Extra large.
Still wouldn't have been big enough for me.
I'm just looking at this. I don't think I ever looked at it. I think these are posters here. There's a lot of people that had that poster right there, Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
You can say whatever you want to about Hulk Hogan, and people today do. For whatever reason, they knock him today like he was just trash, like he never was over. But he was.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. Don't they, Jack?
Yep. All the time.
That they're saying he was never over.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, who are these imbeciles?
Imbeciles.
That's what we were talking about. For whatever reason, anything before they were born or whatever, and I'm assuming that's the people we're talking about.
Well, this is why we do what we do, so that people don't have an excuse for not knowing their history.
Oh my goodness! I mean, that's just total. That's beyond ignorance. I'll just tell you. And again, it goes a lot of this, and we're gonna talk about it in another episode about about the comparison between today's product and other product in years past, and a lot of it has to do with production.
Mm-hmm.
It has to do with do you have the black lines to the side of the screen and that kind of thing. And I never really looked at it. I mean, let's be honest, some of the wrestling promotions TV shows did not look good, but the in-ring product was very good, and I mean, let's just be honest, that the show from Hattiesburg with that gigantic curtain barely covering it, didn't even cover the door in the back, looked awful. But in when you looked at the matches and what they did in the matches, pretty decent.
Well, when one of my favorites from the old Georgia Championship days that WWE shows is the entire show of the last Battle of Atlanta, and I've watched that several times. And the whole show was solid, but there's no fancy lights. There's one camera angle. There's no voiceovers. There's no commentary. There's no music, and the video quality is not that great. But if you're going to get obsessed with that kind of stuff, then you're not going to like it. But if you watch it for the pure greatness of what goes on in that ring, you can't beat what that show was.
Sure. I did. Is some of this has to do with the last few years with Hulk Hogan, maybe.
Oh yeah, I mean, they want to bring up the racial stuff and anything. I mean, I'm not saying he don't deserve the heat for that. I mean,
Sure,
he
absolutely
deserved
does.
it. He took it. He apologized, and has tried real hard to make it right. Which is, I think, all any of us can do if we ever do anything stupid. And I'm telling you, we've all done something stupid. And if you're out there watching and you hadn't, your time's coming because
Oh yeah,
we don't get out of here without it. But
amazing.
I don't know. They just, they look at him. They might see matches and they think, well, he ain't doing all them 500 spots that we're used to now,
That's
and
true.
he's not over the top rope stuff. So they don't understand what the product was back then. But you know what? Today's product don't draw the way it did back then either. So you can
No,
you can love today's product, and I'm not knocking today's product, but it doesn't hold up to what it was back in the 70s, 80s.
For the people who like the product of today, they like it, and there's
Oh yeah,
nothing wrong with that. And and there's some things that I watch, I like. I'll be honest with you, I like it. I think it's not the wrestlers. I think it's the writing for them. I don't think it's the wrestlers. I think they are still talented guys. I think they could be talented, but they're doing what they're told to do. And it's not like they get to do what they want to do. So he said, "Size Pure Rip." Do you think that's what that was?
maybe.
You had to buy $50 or more, but you wouldn't take too much when you buy a cross pin for $29.95.
I want you to know that at the height of our careers, I weighed the same as Hulk Hogan. He was just put together different.
I only missed one card in Cincinnati from February '82 to the early '90s due to a hospital stay, but I still regret missing the dog collar match between Roddy Piper and Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. Yeah, that was in '83, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure that was sometime in '83. I think we were gone by then.
Yeah, we were gone by then because Piper had already left from his initial stay, and then he came back for that one match, and I think that was right before he went right on to the WWF.
He did not leave his stay; he got fired.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did y'all watch the A&E biography on Piper yet?
No,
it's very well done. Very well done.
But Piper always says he was blackballed from the National Wrestling Alliance. Have you heard him say this before?
No.
Did he?
Based on what?
Left the National Wrestling Alliance from Georgia, and then he went to the National Wrestling Alliance to the Carolinas. He went back to the Carolinas. He was for the NWA.
Sure was.
He might have been blackballed by Barnett, because Barnett had a lot of trouble out of Piper the whole time he was there. He was very good, though, on television. But boy, when it came to the matches, he was bad at that point. If he'd even show up on time, he wouldn't even show up on time. Well, it's 9:00. You think Piper's going to get here? Think he's going to get here. And then he gets Tommy Rich messed up into that. And Tommy Rich should have been fired too. I don't know why he
Well, here's my question. I would assume that Jimmy Crockett did not put up with that over in the Carolinas. I don't think he ever wanted to be there in the first place. Because think about it. You never heard any issue out of when he worked for the Crockett's at all. Only when he came to Georgia. And I really think he did not want to be in Georgia.
Maybe. But he was making $1,500 at some point. He was making, when he was supposed to be there full time, he was making $3,000 a week. This was in 1982. That was good money.
That was his guarantee. That was his guarantee. Now, based on what we've heard, $3,000 is not much compared to what you can make in the Carolinas if you're working the big shows over there.
Yep.
So again. And there's a difference between working, I'm sorry, but there's a difference between working at Etowah, Tennessee and Charlotte, North Carolina.
This is true. That's where he got fired from, Etowah, Tennessee. That's exactly where he was supposed to be. And he did not show up. Him and Tommy Red, they did show up like 2 hours late. after Buzz Sawyer and Buzz Sawyer and Brett Armstrong wrestled for 45 minutes, went back out did another 15 minutes, wrestled over an hour. They should have got a bonus. They should have got whatever Tommy Rich and
yes, yeah, they saved the show for no doubt. And then everybody's waiting for the next Buzz Sawyer Brad Armstrong match. Just an awesome match. And those are matches. If we only had a camera, it was just a beautiful, beautiful match. And our cousins were not wrestling fans, but they were then. They were fans of Brad Armstrong, especially after that show.
Brad was good then. I mean, Brad hadn't wrestled but about 2 years at that point, and man, he had.
And with the amount of heat that got, especially with Bill Eadian, for what story went, Bill Eadian only got into it in Cobb County Civic Center that night. We didn't go, but they got into it big time. And so basically to save face, they had no choice. Somebody had to pay the price, pay the piper, if you will. And it was Roddy. Got the letter the next day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, from what we heard though, and then we've got to leave because we got to get over to the live show. But we also heard during that same point that TBS was paying $1,500 of that a week.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. Now, I don't know what the truth of that is. We don't really know. That's what we heard, that TBS loved him on there, so they paid the additional $1,500. Rick Brooks said, according to his biography, Macho Man was flat out cheap.
Oh yeah,
got it.
Yeah, that's well known in the industry.
All right.
That's why he could retire and didn't have to worry about hitting a lick at a snake.
Exactly. All right, guys, we're going over to the live stream, and we'll meet everybody over there. And then we'll come back, and we'll we got two little. I think we're going over Georgia Championship Wrestling programs right later on tonight, and some other photographs from our personal stuff here. All right, guys, we'll see you over there. We're going live in about 5 minutes. Thank you, guys.